Diddy's daughters are said to be scared and heartbroken as their father's life in prison falls deeper into chaos.
He became very depressed and considered that maybe his life shouldn't even go on. And he has been, his lawyers say, on suicide watch the entire time he's been in jail.
Sources close to the family claim the girls have been desperately asking for help, saying their father is on the verge of breaking down physically, mentally, and emotionally as his once untouchable empire falls apart piece by piece since his arrest in March 2024. When Homeland Security raided his Los Angeles and Miami homes, Diddy's world has been in freefall. He was arrested at a Miami airport while trying to board his private jet. And by mid-April, a judge had already denied him bail. His trial turned into a full-blown media circus, packed with shocking testimonies, celebrity appearances, and endless headlines. But while the world is glued to the courtroom drama, what's happening inside New York's Metropolitan Detention Center might be even more disturbing. Reports suggest Diddy has faced several assaults in prison and even suffered a mental breakdown. During the holidays,
music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after two judges denied his request for bail.
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He do an Epstein.
Why you think he didn't pull a Russell Simmons and leave the country?
They was watching him, bro. They was watching him. And then I think that he had to turn over his passport. Even if you own your own private jet, they have a system up there whereas that they supposed to check your passport and anything that you need to fly as if you were flying commercial.
Insiders say Diddy once begged prison guards to take him to a hospital after an emotional breakdown, but they turned him down. He reportedly managed to calm himself through meditation, a routine he's been sticking to every day since landing behind bars. Still, sources claim he's barely holding it together and has been placed on watch multiple times. At first, he was kept in a protected unit. But now he's been moved into the general population, and that's when the real fear kicked in. Inmates serving life sentences are allegedly targeting him, thinking that attacking a famous face could earn them clout or respect on the inside. Some insiders warn that he's in genuine danger every single day, while others say he's terrified of being transferred to a maximum security prison. There are even whispers that certain inmates want payback for old school rap feuds, ones going all the way back to Tupac and Biggie.
Do you feel like Pac fans will try to do something to him?
Pac and Biggie fans. He can have issues with both of them because a lot of people think, because of the statement that Keith D made, that he did something to Pac. A lot of people know or think that because of Biggie leaving, they finding out that Biggie was leaving Bad Boy, that he may have had something to do with Biggie. People feel that way. You hear it all the time. You see it all the time on the chats and all that stuff.
Meanwhile, Diddy's daughters, especially the twins, are said to be completely overwhelmed. They've reportedly reached out to close family friends for help, fearing their father might not make it out alive. The girls have tried to send him messages through his legal team, but the lawyers are said to be fully focused on the appeal now underway. According to them, the judge overlooked the jury's findings during sentencing, arguing that the verdict didn't actually prove coercion or racketeering. They maintain that everything Diddy was convicted of involved consenting adults, and claim the appeal will expose what they call a deeply flawed judgment. Still, none of that changes his grim reality, a 50-month federal sentence inside one of the toughest prisons in the country.
now, hoping which facility he gets into. I don't think he'll get into a camp only because he's high profile. Even though his sentence qualifies him for a camp, it's a low security, sentence. But my feeling is he'll get into at least a medium because he's so high profile.
Is the camp the lowest security and therefore more paddle and tennis and all the other things and what they call Club Fed or Camp Cupcake?
Yeah, they moved me to a camp by accident at one point, and there's no fences or anything like that. And I wasn't there for too long because they realized they made a mistake and put me back in the medium security. But they tell you when you get there, listen, there's no fences. If you want to leave, you can leave. But when we catch you, we're going to add another 5 years onto your sentence. And while I was in that camp for 2 months, each month somebody ran away. I mean, they always try to do that. But yeah, he's thinking of that. Yeah, he's thinking of that. But, a medium security is not that bad.
Let me quickly go back, though. Go back to that piece about he's high profile, so he won't get a camp. Why wouldn't he? I thought in a camp, nobody's going to shank him because, again, they want out.
The overriding factor there, I believe, is he's a guy with a lot of money. And I'll tell you, this happened to me when I went in there because of the profile I had, because of the way they wrote me up. I had everybody and their brother inmate trying to do a deal with me when I got out, a business deal. They need money. Because of the fact that he's a money guy, I think he's going to have more friends than he will enemies. And in a medium security, normally nobody's looking to shank you. When you get into the higher institutions, when people are doing, a ton of time and there's no way you can benefit them, then you got to.
That's not the only storm Diddy's facing. A wave of lawsuits keeps building up, with former associates, bodyguards, and alleged victims stepping forward to share disturbing accounts. Some dating all the way back to the late 90s. One man has even claimed Diddy assaulted him and recorded the act, alleging that Jennifer Lopez knew about the footage but kept quiet. Another suit accuses Diddy of threatening and intimidating potential witnesses. At this point, the danger closing in on him isn't just from inmates who might want to serve their own kind of justice. It's from the very people he once called friends. It seems like everyone around him suddenly has a reason to want him gone.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, I think for appearance sake, they're afraid to do that. But I got two questions. One, Clive Davis, his name has been thrown around a lot now, and he's not speaking out. I know some people that know Clive, and I think he's got concerns. Now, he's a powerful guy, no question about it. But did you ever hear anything about him?
Puffy and Clyde, according to Puffy and everybody else, they've been lovers. Shit, Clyde know Ray J, Clyde know Puffy, Clyde know everybody. Mm-hmm. Clyde's that type of guy. And if you notice, somebody sent me a clip one time on my tablet, and somebody asked Clyde about Puffy. They called me, they asked him about it. He acted like he didn't know who the man was. Yeah. Like he never knew him. I mean, what did you hiding, Clyde? Yeah. But at the end of the day, Clyde is one of the guys who got away. But old as Clyde is, he should be able to tell the truth. It ain't like he got a lot to live on Earth. I'm quite sure he is slowly coming to a pass.
According to Wright, the real villain in the story is none other than Sean Carter, Jay-Z himself. She's accused him of masterminding a decades-long web of betrayal, claiming he turned on the very people who helped him climb to the top, from old friends to Haven, Dame Dash, and even Big L, whose tragic death still stands as one of hip-hop's most haunting mysteries. Wright says Jay-Z's trail of disloyalty.
Just waiting to see who's next. Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane, to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him. And so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone.
Next voice she claimed that Diddy has become the industry's acceptable monster of the moment, just like R. Kelly was made the fall guy years ago. According to her, history is repeating itself, and Diddy's now taking the same hit. Rumor has it, the once powerful Jay-Z and Diddy alliance is starting to crumble, with tension and toxicity growing between the two former mogul friends.
It was Puffy's relationship with Jay-Z because, there was that lawsuit from Tony Busby.
Okay.
Where the girl who claimed she was 15, she was raped by Puffy and Jay-Z.
Right.
And, at one point, number one, Jay-Z said this is nonsense.
Right.
The girl, a bunch of stuff she was saying just was impossible. She was saying how, the group Good Charlotte was there and they're like, we weren't even at that event. We were touring in the Midwest. And her own father even said that this is nonsense. Like I would have remembered these instances, we lived 3 hours away. I would remember a 6-hour drive.
Right.
But what was interesting was that Jay-Z's camp basically put out a statement saying that Jay and Puff are not friends and they're not close at all or whatever else. Did you see the two of them interact a lot?
I seen them interact, but I wouldn't say they was close. I believe Puff felt they was close.
Oh.
But if you was a person on the outside looking in, like me and Uncle Paulie used to always talk about it, me and D-Rock was talking about, yo, why Puff kind of like sucking Jay off so much? You know what I'm saying? Cause you'd be like, we done flew to 5 or 6, 7 different concerts that Jay-Z has, but Jay-Z is not at one of Puff's shows. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Rock brunch where Puff will break his neck to get to the brunch, but Jay-Z don't pop up at any of Puff parties. Now I can only speak up until 2012. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was breaking his neck. Like at the end of the day, in our mind, we say, yo, he ain't even invite Puff to his wedding. When he married Beyonce, Steve Stout and all of them was there. You know what I'm saying? And Puff was kind of in his feelings, but once again.
Oh, Puff was upset he didn't get invited to the wedding?
Of course he was.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, we're security, so we're bottom on a tote pole. So he's not going to show you that it really affects him until you have a little conversation with him or you say something or you overhear something. But he didn't get invited to that, Yeah, Jay came through every once in a while. Like if we was in a yacht in San Tropez or one of these places like that, Jay might ride up. You know what I'm saying? And it's more or less to show, yeah, I got a yacht.
While Wright painted Jay-Z as the puppet master pulling strings behind the scenes, Gene zeroed in on the hard evidence. In a recent interview, he said that after Cassie's lawsuit surfaced, it was only a matter of time before federal prosecutors got involved. But according to Gene, Diddy isn't the only one who should be worried. Anyone caught on those tapes could be next. He warned that investigators might call them in, question them, or even pressure them to testify. If you were on camera, Gene said, they'll cut you a deal, immunity in exchange for your story.
So when this happened, when the raid went down, everybody thought Diddy was running. Everybody thought he was going to go to a country that doesn't extradite, and they were kind of comparing it to like Russell Simmons. How Russell Simmons went to a country too.
Right.
What'd you think?
Well, I think that he wasn't going to go no. They knew where he was at. They got your phones tapped. They're going to stop your flights or whatever. They knew exactly where he was at. I don't think that when they have a warrant, a search warrant for a residence, is not for a body. If they had one for a body, they would have brought it in. Now, if they would have went there and they found guns, drugs, and Diddy was there, they would have brought him in. You know what I'm saying? They would have brought him in. like they brought his sons in. And then they want to know, well, why are these unlicensed guns in the house? Who drugs do these belong to? All those things like that. But a lot of people probably believe that, they just want to know, and the government want to know what things those people were doing on those tapes and who was doing shit on those tapes. Because I heard they found like 250 cameras or something like that.
That's what they say. They said they found a lot of cameras.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about him recording some of these parties, and he's using a lot of this stuff for blackmail, like a lot of celebrities, even as far as politicians. I think even Little Rod said that Diddy had every room taped and bugged.
Right. Well, in his affidavit or his deposition that he gave to the courts, he said every room was bugged, and that he did have tapes and information on a lot of different celebrities and people in the music business, people that were in politicians, and like I said, in other platforms, people that was in the ministry. Allegedly.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He insisted this wasn't gossip or hearsay. Diddy himself had admitted it years ago in sworn legal depositions. The real threat now, Deal warned, lies in what federal agents may have uncovered. According to reports, investigators found as many as 250 hidden cameras during raids on Diddy's properties in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York, a discovery that could expose far more than anyone expected.
So you believe they only got Puffy because they wanted these tapes. What do you think is on these tapes?
Bro, you got to realize you got people like Prince Harry. Prince Harry was at a Diddy party. You got some of the same Universal executives. Diddy made it cool for, I'm just going to say it like this, man, whites to hang out with the hood dudes. Dude from the hood, he made it cool and safe for them to hang out with the white executives. They used them for that. They used them enough, whereas that now you got white executives doing Diddy-like parties. Remember the dude from, Frantic? The clothing line, the sports line? They was mad because they didn't get invites to his party because he was doing white parties, doing parties like Diddy. Now, I ain't talking about the freak-off party part of it, but I'm just saying, he was doing those parties, and everybody, there was rappers, or I think Stephen A. Smith said something about he was upset that he didn't get no invite. So it was those parties that everybody wanted to be at. So Diddy have on tape, he taped everything. He taped everything and taped everybody. You remember in his trial it came up. In his trial it came up. What came up in his trial? It came up that his assistant was right there. And Diddy told him, "You want to show your lord to me?" Gave him a condom and told him to sex the girl right there. He asked the girl, was she all right there? She said, yeah. That's crazy, bro. So now, you think certain politicians, you think certain actors, actress, they drink and smoke and we know they love pink. You know they got weed all in the air. They dropping ecstasy pills. They dropping some other kind of sexual pill. Man, do you think he ain't got nobody on tape?
Deal claims those tapes don't just feature rappers, they allegedly include actors, executives, politicians, and even preachers. There were people from every circle at those parties, he said. People who thought they were untouchable. If federal agents really have those tapes, Deal believes a lot of big names are probably panicking right now. The idea that one man might have secretly recorded some of the most powerful figures in entertainment and politics has turned this case into something far bigger than Diddy himself.